Hello and welcome to the International Exhibition of Microcosmos, the organisms we barely see. So, my name is Dr. Arturo Quintero Ferrer, and I am the exhibitor or curator of the exhibition. So, this exhibition has been 2 years in the making. We talk about COVID-19, we talk about bioreactors, we talk about different microorganisms as well. And we also talk about anime, believe it or not. One of the things that most important for our viewers is to learn about biotechnology and microbiology for everyone, because science is for everyone. With that said, I'd like to thank our sponsors. That will be RG Laboratorios, Plantech, the other one will be CrunchyRoll, of course, Giant Microbes, and Direccion de Cultura, and Gobierno de Guadalajara, and of course, the Museo of Paleontology of Guadalajara, in the city of Guadalajara. With that said, let's get this thing started, and we can start with explaining everything that has to do with microcosmos by saying that we are all connected to each other, biologically, to the earth, and chemically. This is a phrase by Neil deGrasse Tyson. We are all connected to the rest of the universe atomically. With that said, welcome to the International Exhibition of Microcosmos The Organisms that we barely see. Please, come along. And with that intro, we begin our journey into the first area of, COVID-19. When we first made this exhibition, the whole point was to talk about the difference between bacteria and viruses. And the important thing that I always tell everybody is that the bacteria and viruses are different, but the most important difference is that bacteria are alive, while viruses are not. And the reason is quite simple. Bacteria have independent metabolism, something that viruses do not have. Hey, hi, how you been? Very good. Yes. And we talk about COVID in here, and as you know, it is a virus that it is known that is originated in a place called Wuhan. And we have a little table here that very much explains how the virus has evolved. We have up to 2.5 million of people that have been deceased, unfortunately, because of the virus. And this, as the presentation was made in 2019, when we started making this expo. And our friend here is watching here how the virus, we usually fight the virus. We just make sure to clean our hands, to cover our faces, and to maintain the social distance. And here's a little video presenting about the importance of biotechnology and COVID and all these things. And this is a guy that I barely know. He has some resemblance, but I don't know who he is. Anyway, and here's a giant microbe, again, from the company Giant Microbes. And these are aesthetically correct viruses that are made, little fleshies that pretty much explain how anatomically they're made. And this is a representation of COVID. And now we're gonna move into our next area over here, in which we present some, as you say, real facts or fake news. And our assistant here helped us to move on a little one. And our friend here will make, that's true, and that's false. Thank you so much. Well, this is very organic. I'm very happy to have assistants all over. And these are very interesting. They just talk about different things like vaccines make you sick and things like that are total fake news. And these are very important little things that our viewers here at the museum talk about. And we're gonna move into the next area. See you in a second. As I was explaining a couple of minutes ago, one of the things that people, when we started all the pandemic, is just to make an emphasis on hygiene. This might be something that is, very normal for everyone, but it is important to reinforce to wash your hands and antibacterial gel, the use of antibacterial gel. Mostly, not because of COVID, because it has been shown that COVID does not really, is affected by soap and gel, but you see a lot of other diseases have pretty much gone down, such as cholera and influenza. And our friend here just put a couple of her, she put one thumb with alcohol and another thumb without alcohol. And well, this is our collection of different Petri plates that have been stacking here on our collection of all the different visitors. And as you can see, these are, well, she's doing a great job. You can see that these display and they move up and down, and these all of them are serial numbered. And if you were here in Guadalajara, you can pretty much adhere one of your microbes to our collection. And yeah, that's the general idea in which we want to show here. And now we move on into the molecular aspect of things. Yes, our presenter here is very happy to to present for us. And well, here's the thing. We have one of the most important assays that have come with us as scientists, which is ELISA, which is the enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, which is known as ELISA, in which it uses antibodies to detect different antigens or pathogens. When these come out, well, with these different colors, it'll show that they're positive. Well, this is a technology that has been used in this rapid testing in order to detect COVID. And well, some of you might be looking that some of the tests come negative, they come with false negatives, and that's because COVID keeps evolving and the science keeps evolving. So if you give us a little bit more time, we'll be able to reach and to catch up with the virus and these with this test, and we'll be more efficient every day. We're getting more efficient every day. Then when everything else fails, as we say, we have the DNA and RNA. So we do extractions in these things, which are called extraction hood, laminar flow hoods. Let's just put a little bit of UV light with the movie magic, and that way we'll know that it's clean. I guess it's now clean, and we can continue to do our extraction of DNA. And these very clean hoods, and they're very popular in labs, as you may know. And what we do is do these extractions of DNA. We use different protocols. We even use kits that make our lives easier to get to these nucleic acids. And well, everything that you see here is been provided by the company called RG Labs. You'll see that over there in the corner. And we would like to thank you for the sponsorship of this little area. We're talking about PCR here, which is the molecular methodology that allows us to visualize DNA and to make an assessment if the person is, well, infected or not in the case of COVID. But it also has multiple uses in agriculture, in industry, and some other, other endeavors such as science, research, and so forth. We move on to the next area, and this is what you see here is a bioreactor, okay? This bioreactor is quite literally a marvel of technology in which you pretty much can take a very small inoculum or very small amounts of microorganisms, and you can grow them out in this, in this reactors per se. What are we growing here, you might be thinking? Well, what we're growing in here are microalgae, and microalgae are the new factories. So what we want to explain here is that one of the most complicated machineries that exist in our life are microorganisms, because thanks to them we can make different things such as, well, vaccines, we can make biofuel, and we can actually make cosmetics. And this company right here is called Plantech, and this is one of our sponsors here for the exhibition. And Plantech, one of the things that they make is cosmetics. So they are the pioneers in making these little cosmetics. So they make face creams, they make body creams, they make they call it post-surgically enhanced creams for when you go through surgery, and many different other things that they do. And well, here it is. So we can have here a microalgae that has a little bit of facial cream. on his face to rejuvenate and to grow a little bit happier. And so what the people that are doing here on Plantech is something called molecular cosmetology. And what they're doing is just taking all the goodness of nature and applying it into our skin to make it healthier. And the other things that I just want to talk about microalgae that is really important is that, well, I have here a little plushie here again with Giant Microbes again being a main sponsor for the expo. You can see that there are numerous cells that are kind of green, and then you have one that is a little bit gray, a little bit brownish. So this, I keep telling people that these microorganisms are a bit of a plant and a bit of a bacteria. So that's why they're able to do these many things, and that's why they have many different biochemicals within their cell walls that allow them to do numerous tasks for us and for nature. Actually, these are very, very good for producing oxygen. So a lot of people attribute that oxygen comes from trees, which is true, but these ones also produce oxygen for us. So these are the underdogs that are usually not very talked about, but they're very important. So then again, this is the exhibit here for the microalgae is sponsored by Plantech. Then again, thank you so very much for your sponsorship. And now one of the things that are very, very common that people talk about are the vaccines. The only thing that I usually tell the people that come here to see our expo is that, well, if you think about it this way, there are 4 messages that I want you to take home. There are 4 ways of getting vaccinated. So there is a traditional method in which you would inactivate a pathogen, which is not a technique that is being used very commonly as of now. Then we have the extraction of proteins that they're later on pretty much inserted into our bodies. Pretty much they're extracted in this laminar flow hood, purified, and then we get vaccinated by these proteins, which is the second method over there. And these are pretty common too. Then we're gonna go a little bit further into the ones that are over here, the vector ones. So the vectorized vaccines, we're talking about these vaccines in which they use a vehicle in order to get inside our cells, and these produce the immunity that we need from a vaccine. But now with the COVID-19, we have these new vaccines that are made of nucleic acids, this mRNA, as you may hear on the news quite frequently. These are very, very efficient, and they're made by the company Pfizer and Moderna. And the interesting thing, though, is that they need to be kept at really, really low temperatures, and that's why they use the ultra freezers here that go all the way to -80 to maintain the material intact for people to get vaccinated with this mRNA vaccine. So this is the little exhibit in which we talk about the vaccines. And now we arrive to the part of our exhibit in which everybody is always so excited to see and to meet the plushies from the exhibit, which are made by this company called Giant Microbes, which we really thank them for all their support for making this happen. Giant Microbes is a company by Drew Oliver. We would like to thank also Ashley Deal, and then we would like to thank also Andrew Klein, which has helped us with the logistics to bring these ones to the exhibit. And as you can see, there are numerous different microbes, because not everything is COVID. We have here just really quickly, we can see here Penicillium, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. We have here the bacteriophages, HIB. Then we have the cold virus, the common cold, the rhinovirus. Then we have E. coli, Zika virus, amoebas. And then we have here the swine flu virus. Then we have a stem cell. Then we have here the mad cow. Then we have the animal cell. And at the end over there in the top right, we have the dengue virus. So I'm just gonna go and pan them out real quick and give you some quick trivia about them real quick. So we have here penicillium, which is what penicillin is made. Then we have here Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is pretty much what beer is made of. And here it is, this little slight shot. Then we have here the bacteriophage, which loves eating E. coli and different other bacteria. And it's quite popular here because it looks like a spaceship. Then we move on to the bottom here, and we talk about these two viruses, which are HIV and the rhinoviruses. Very different, even though the shape is a little bit similar, they're not the same virus. And then we have a very nervous E. coli here that is about to be eaten by the bacteriophage. We have E. coli in here, very popular in our bodies and very popular in the lab as well. And we move on to the next two guys. We have here the Zika virus and the amoeba. The Zika virus is, it's a virus that is transmitted by mosquitoes, and it was very well known in Brazil, and that's why it's got those colors, because it was shown and there was an outbreak of Zika virus in Brazil. Then we have here the amoeba, which is very interesting because the amoeba, even though it's quite small, us as humans, we have up to 3.5 gigs of information in our DNA, but the amoebas have up to 4 terabytes of information in their DNA, which makes them quite remarkable microorganisms. And then we have here these two guys. We have a stem cell, which has pretty much the potential to be anything that you like. And for everyone that wants to achieve something, the stem cell is right there to show you that you can be whatever you want. And then we have here the mammalian cell, which are very popular in our bodies and pretty much have everything that we need in order to survive nature in general. And then we have these three guys on top. We have here the H1N1 virus that looks like a little pork. It's pretty funny. And it's called the swine flu virus, and it was quite popular in Mexico. There was a contagion, I believe, there was a pandemic in 2015, if I remember correctly. This is the H1N1 influenza virus, but it was successfully contained, so it didn't grow too much, so everything was fine. And then we have the prions, which are these very interesting proteins that are not folded correctly, and then they tend to aggregate in the brain. These proteins or prions were discovered in cows that were a bit mad. Actually, I could say that these cows were mad cows. They had the infection, the mad cow disease, and that's why the protein looks like a little cow, which is a very clever way of representing that. And finally, we have the dengue virus. The dengue virus is very important in this exhibit because in the city of Guadalajara, we have many cases of dengue virus. The two strains are present in the city, so it is important to talk about the awareness of dengue virus to get rid of the Aedes mosquito, which happens to be the vector of this virus. And again, I would like to thank Giant Microbes for helping us to make this making it come true here in our exhibit. Thank you so very much again to Drew Oliver, Ashley, and Andrew over there. Andrew Klein, Ashley Deal, Drew Oliver, thank you very much. A big shout out from the city of Guadalajara. And now we move into another part of our exhibit. Actually, this part is quite interesting because this is how we started our exhibit, to talk about this antibiotic resistant or multiple resistant antibiotic bacteria. And we have one very happy bacteria here who happens to be taking a bath with all these antibiotics. This multiple resistant Staphylococcus aureus bacteria is having a blast with all your antibiotics. And this is a very, very serious topic here in Mexico because there's been numerous cases of people having complications and surgeries, and very minor surgeries at that, in which this bacteria is present and complicates things for everyone. So the main conclusion that I keep giving everyone in the exhibit is that do not overuse antibiotics, and only use them when the medics tell you to do so. And also it's important to say that if you are on the antibiotics, you have to finish the treatment. Don't leave it at the middle, because when you do, that's how you get multiple resistant Staphylococcus aureus to haunt all of our surgeries. And this potentially can be even worse than COVID if we let it grow. So let's just take some awareness, to keep this bacteria under control, so we can all have, pleasant lives in general. And now we move into the area of CrunchyRoll, and we would like to thank our sponsor here of CrunchyRoll, and all the work that Mr. Ismael Orozco has helped us to make this true for everyone in the exhibit. So we wanted to connect the themes that we were talking about earlier about science, and this series that you see here, Dr. Stone, is a series that just comes perfectly for the exhibit, because this series talks about the scientific method. Everything that we produce in science has to do with the scientific method. Without the scientific method, we cannot do any of the things that you just saw earlier. Forget about bioreactors, forget about medicine, forget about testing methods. So this series, it talks about our hero here, Senku, which pretty much comes here into post-apocalyptic without any spoilers. I don't want to spoil too much the series. You need to see this series. But Senku is a hero of the series. He comes here with his friends to pretty much show how science works, and pretty much how can make everyone's lives much, much easier. So then again, big shout out for CrunchyRoll. Thank you for allowing us to use all these characters in our exhibit. And for the people that are here in the city of Guadalajara, we're giving out posters for the series of Dr. Stone. And we're also giving out posters for another series that comes here, that also has come here from CrunchyRoll, which is the series of Cells at Work. The way we connected this is that Cells at Work, it's a series that talks about, the cells that reside in your body and that attack microorganisms. So what happens when, the scientific method fails us, which we really don't want that to happen and to be a thing. But what happens when medicine is not there yet, or the vaccines are not there yet? Well, the heavy lifting is taken by these guys, which are our cells that are always working, and the immune system that is always working for us. So we have here a platelet, which is exceptionally kawaii, as they would say in Japan. And then we have here our messenger red blood cell, which pretty much its work is to give oxygen throughout the body. And then we have here the white blood cell, which allows us, pretty much to defend ourselves from different pathogens, minor pathogens. And then we have the macrophages, which are very interesting because they have numerous, roles in our bodies. They can protect us. They also serve as nannies and babysitters of the white blood cells and the red blood cells when in their infancy. And also we have at the end here the killer T cells, the CD8. I hope I said that correctly. And if I didn't, please let me know at the comments section. So the killer T cell is pretty much the SWAT team of our body, and allows us to pretty much defend us from our from different pathogens that attack us. And then again, we have here another set of giant microbes that are making cosplay of our characters of cells that work. We also have here a display the original mangas brought all the way from Japan from Dr. Stone over here and Cells at Work. And thanks again for helping us to bring these two series here at our exhibit, which makes this exhibit the only one in the American continent that talks about science and anime in an exhibition. So thanks again to Ismael and CrunchyRoll for making this happen. And now we move into our conclusion that is over here. And so we arrived to the end of our tour. This is a conclusion in which we pretty much take on all the messages that the great scientists have given us throughout the years. You will see here a microscope, and well, I'm gonna get a little bit personal, but this microscope belongs to my father, and it belonged to my grandfather. And now the biologist takes over the mantle of science. And well, here is in the exhibition for everyone to see. And as you can see here, as you move on here, you will see that there's a lot of doors. These doors represent science, pretty much the doors of science. And each of these doors will open to a new knowledge. One of these doors, for example, will be the microscope. Then another door will go to the penicillin. Then, you know, we'll keep opening these doors, and as we move along, you will see the great faces that have pretty much made science real for all of us. Each of these inventions, as you can see, one door will lead to the other, and this door will lead to another one. Here's the interesting thing. We have arrived to the point in which some doors will not open. But never fear. It's because I have you people that are science enthusiasts that we can actually arrive with a key to open these doors. So I am very, very glad to have you here on this tour with us. And I really hope and expect for everyone to be able to open the last door. So it's in Spanish, but no worries, I know a bit Spanish, I can translate for you all. So he says that by the means of knowledge, all these facts that have been coming with us will allow us to know better how microcosmos works and how microbiology works. So the idea is that with all the things that we've learned today, hopefully by the end of the year, which is the date in which we'll make the closure of this international exposition, we'll all be able to open this door. And it is because of you, the viewers, that put like and subscribe to all our videos that we'll be able to continue with this endeavor of this fun endeavor of talking about science and technology to everyone. With that said, international viewers, thank you so very much for hanging on with us, and well, put a comment, put a like, tell us what you think, and that's what we're here for. Thank you very much. This is Arturo Quintero Ferrer saying goodbye, and thank you so very much. See you soon.